tell me a little bit about Kumari in the hospital here with the baby.
She's very interesting. Kumari is really the classic case of domestic violence in our country. A young, attractive girl gets married to a man who is an alcoholic and kind of puts through with it because, you know, it's almost like in our culture, in a way, getting beaten by a man is sort of seen as, in some sectors of society, is quite acceptable. Really. Because you don't talk about domestic violence. We don't. There may be some women who do that at coffee mornings or coffee evenings or whatever. But it is not a subject we deal with in terms of empowering women to cope with it. But everyone knows about it. And it covers the whole spectrum of society. But particularly among women who are not so literate and not so empowered in terms of earning or divorcing their men and living by themselves. It is like, it's something you just put up with. Okay, so physical abuse, that's bad. And Kumari's husband was at it. So she already had 2 children. And I suspect when she set herself on fire, it was the classic case of, you know, coming back, abuse her, drunk, abuse her, marital rape, and, you know, then you end up with this child and you really don't want any of it. And there's another cultural thing, you know. When in our part of the world, when a woman is pregnant, you really want to look at only beautiful things. So if you're burned, deformed, and being poorly treated, you can't even go to a clinic, a maternity clinic, because other women cannot look upon you, you know. They'll have ugly babies. It is difficult for me to get some of these women to be seen in the maternal clinic of our own hospital. That's how stigmatized deformity in burns is. And yet no one does anything about it because it takes a lot of hard work and psychological help as well to get them to the stage where they want to help themselves.
Show me and tell me how Kumari looked when she came in.
Yeah.
Just tell me.
I really, Kumari is, it's hard for me, usually they're like that, but Kumari was like that. And an important thing in our culture is that we eat with our right hand and we wash after we go to the toilet. We don't use toilet paper. We wash every time we go to the toilet. And I tell my therapist, this is a really important lesson. I don't want you to just save a burn. My medical officers too. They need to be able to feed themselves and they need to be able to wash themselves. Someone who can't feed themselves or wash themselves after they go to the toilet. Really, what is that pain? And particularly if you're pregnant. So it's better off you let them die. Because it is living death to live like that, contracted. It's not just people not looking at you. It's just, it degrades you. So she came to me stuck. Her neck was stuck, her arms were stuck, her chin was stuck, and she was 5 months pregnant. And she did not want her baby. So I was going to arrange for the Salvation Army because she was really poor. And I think every baby is precious and a potential bomb of possibilities. That's my view. I said, Salvation Army perhaps will help me because they have done that before. Maybe they'll take your child. Or Mother Teresa's home. We'll see. And to be honest with you, I was hoping the baby would not survive. But the baby survived. And Kumari wanted the baby after I released her neck. She wanted the baby. That's amazing because she can barely feed herself. They're so poor. She has 2 other children to feed, but you know, the whole family came together And her sisters who have children of their own, they're looking after the baby for her. So Kumari has survived and she wants to live. She wants the baby. The baby now really gives her a reason to live. But there's a long way to go for her to be empowered. But just the fact that she's coming to clinic, wanting to get things done, I think she's going to make it. She's going to be one of my survivors, one of my postcards from heaven. The scar must be worth the pain of survival. Burns is a painful disease, emotionally and physically. The treatment is painful, the follow-up is painful, the emotional pain is painful. The response from society is painful. So, if you are left with scarring, and you almost always will be when you are burnt, the pain that you underwent to survive this burn and the scar that you have as a result must be worth it. So these survivors, unlike someone with a terminal illness, they don't die, they actually live. But you can't see them because they can't come out. Society will not accept them. You asked me what changed my whole attitude. Is a lot of my women whom I treat for self-immolation, they actually become very empowered. A really good clinic day for me, a day in which I feel buoyant and happy, is when a patient comes to me who has been this depressive, severe burn, comes to me dressed well to my clinic, and I ask her, "How are you doing?" And she says, "Fine, ma'am. My kids are going to school now. I have started a little business. Did you know I did that and did this?" And they've given me something more than I've given them.